Welcome, true readers. I am Michael for Spirit Comics. This is my review of Aquaman number 26. Now, if you have not been reading Aquaman, then you've missed out on some excellent stories from the first issue, Aquaman Rebirth number 1, the one-shot, to issue 24. The art was spectacular, but then issue 25 came out and they changed from their rotating different artists to this one guy who makes everything look depressing. But I think that's because, well, at least story-wise, because Aquaman has been dethroned. He's no longer king. He's no longer king of Atlantis. His wife to be, Mara, thinks that he's dead, and she's mighty ticked off. Mara was a ginger, like Mary Jane Watson, but now the new artist has made her just a plain blonde. I mean, not a blonde, but a redhead. And look at that cover. You can't even tell that it's hair. I mean, it just looks like overlapping lines. But anyway, the artist did sort of bump up her bust, so I have to give him credit for that. Because comic book women have not had good busts since the 1990s. Well, I mean, good big ones anyway. I'm a guy, you know. That's part of me, okay? Her name is Mara, and she has brought revenge to Atlantis. And that's the variant cover, which I do wish I had, because it's so much nicer than the regular cover. That's a girl who is currently with Aquaman, trying to help him out. When we start this story, this is a security guard type person, and he says, "This is Drift Pack 8 in pursuit of outcast filth, Cascade Street 9th Trade. Two subjects, both Hadeland scum, attempting to ascend into the deep 9th. Beware, one displays the unclean traits of mutation. The other is some idiot dressed up like the dead king." And this is Aquaman right here, who was the king of Atlantis. If we can make the chasm at Sacred Plunge, and this is his friend, the girl. And then he sees the security coming after him. He says, "Damn." And he's narrating the story here. The Drift have become ferociously capable under the new king, because there is a new king, I just can't remember his name. A simple choice, surrender or fight. I just hope this stubborn mute girl I'm trying to save can handle herself in a fight. And he says, "Seems she can. The Drift are faster and stronger than I have ever known them." And you can see them fighting the Drift, which is the security. And I do like the artwork, even though it's rather depressing. You know, it's nice for the atmosphere. You know, they're way under Atlantis, deep in the ocean. So that it's good. And here we see Aquaman using his telepathy. In the Aquaman one-shot that rebooted his comic book along with the entire DC Universe in 2016, the talks to fish crap was addressed. And that's always been his telepathy. He doesn't talk to fish. He uses telepathy to communicate with them. And he says, enhanced by magic of the Silent School, no doubt. I won't let them take us. And then we continue over here with some. This is what happens when he uses his telepathy. The nearest ocean animal comes to his aid. In this case, a shark with nice sharp teeth, and is able to help free him from the security. And then he frees the girl he's with as well. He says, "Come on, while they're occupied." And then she stops him, putting her hand against his chest. He says, "What?" And she puts her hands over her eyes because she doesn't say a word. He says, "Cover my eyes." And she looks at him very seriously. And so Aquaman says, "Okay." And then this girl, who I have to admit the artist is drawing very well. I mean, she's a sexy girl. The security says, "Grab her!" What the hell's she doing? And all of a sudden, the sea lights up with this really bright strobing type light, because Aquaman says here, bioluminescence. The girl has talents of her own. Her strobing pulses were so bright they've triggered seizures. And that helps them get away. But it only bought us a few moments, because then you see the security come after him, and Aquaman's like, "We're dead. Close in! Finish him!" the security says. And this is kind of funny. The security says, "Neptune's balls." What was that? An attack! The city is under attack from outside. And so the security leaves. And Aquaman's like, We're spared, but by what? Atlantis is under assault? What outside force would be so insane as to attack the Crown of Thorns that locks us in the city? And the Crown of Thorns is a mystical type spell deal. But it's Mera, his wife-to-be, because she is so ticked off that her husband is dead, and it's the fault of the current king of Atlantis. "My lord, it is the dead king's witch widow. She is unleashing the full power of her aquakinetic abilities against the barrier dome." See, that's what you get when you kill off somebody that another person loves. And so, right here, this guy's saying, what are we going to do, man? And this is the king right here. I forget his name, so let's zoom in. King Wrath, that's his name, King Wrath. He's a jerk and a half. And he's always wanted Aquaman's throne. And so he did something, I can't remember, back in issue 24, I think, that dethroned Aquaman. And he's not going to do a thing against Mera, because he knows that she can't break through that mystical spell, Crown of Thorns. This bothers me, that the artist drew her without a mouth, basically. Because if you see there, it's like she has no mouth, only just a small line there to indicate that she might have a mouth. That's just not good. And I doubt that she's frowning like that while she's trying to break through to Atlantis. And then we see this guy who's being held captive. He's being tortured for information. Now that's not a bad scene right here. So every time he won't answer, he gets a shock to the skull basically. And he's told that Mara is attacking the city. And so he says, "You were sworn to protect King Arthur, and you stabbed him in the back like a coward for all of Atlantis to see. Go ahead, use these arcane toys of the Silent School to torture me. I will tell you precisely nothing." So while the artwork is still depressing, it's reflective that they are in a very bad situation, and it's very deep under the sea. So then we get back to Arthur and the girl. He says, "I should go up into the higher tirades, find out what this attack is," and she stops him. And he doesn't know why. He says, "No, you're right. The drift are everywhere. We need to take advantage of the distraction and disappear. I'm not from here. Do you know where we can go? Some hideaway here in the night? Can you talk?" He says, "Me?" Because she's pointing to him. "Me? I told you, my name is Oren. I'm nobody. Look, can you show me a place to hide or..." He's like, "Was that a yes?" I have a feeling she knows who he is. And she takes him to some place where he can hide. And he finds out that her name is Dolphin. And this place is not very gracious toward outsiders. And, that is kind of understandable. But he does his best to calm their fears. And this one even says, "You're the one, aren't you? The one all the gossip's about? The Aquaman. For shame, you dress up like the poor dead king. You mock his memory." So he thinks that it's Aquaman. This one doesn't. And this one says, "He looks like the dead king to me, but maybe he's not so dead after all." And that one's smarter than those two combined. And so they allow him to stay here a while. And this guy says, "What is it? Are you some ghost, or are you the true king, or are you some disrespectful upstart?" And he says, "I don't know what I am." And he says, "Really? Well, Dolphin thinks you're something. She wouldn't have brought you here otherwise. Is that what you think, Dolphin?" And she sort of looks like she's got a thing for Aquaman. I'm not sure. She just likes being around him, I think. So Crush and the Commander Ursula continue trading insults, and then this guy Cadaver, he comes back here. He doesn't say much, but Crush says that he wants Cadaver to bring him the ghost, and he's referring to Aquaman, because right now Aquaman is just a ghost to most people. And then we see this drawing of Mara, who is attacking Atlantis from above the sea. And this inmate, who's talking to no one, he says, "Is she still up there?" Because everybody in Atlantis can hear the boom, 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 boom that she's doing with her own magic. "She is, isn't she? Guard, I can hear her still unleashing her fury. Mare of Exable, quite a woman." And he tries to get the guard's attention, but he can't. And then this woman from the silent school comes in, and they trade slight types of some insults, but very lightly. And she says that Mara of Exable does not represent salvation, but someone from inside Atlantis could get the job done. And then she says, I'm saying for now, the enemy of my enemy is my friend. And then we see Aquaman talking to these people again, saying, "So you're all undesirables?" "Yeah, 'cause we're poor." And migrants come to Atlantis from the scattered colonies. And this one says, "Some of us have lived here all our lives, but we're still undesirables because of your, you can say it, mutations." So the people in the ninth triad, the lowest part of Atlantis, have mutations. You don't sink a race of men into the sea and expect it not to change them. That's what the sea does. Bioadaptation's been going on for centuries. But Wrath and his kind don't like it. It's not pure, not Atlantean pure. Which is funny because mutations have gotten a lot worse since Wrath became king. This one's saying, "Used to be the ninth was the only place we could live without getting moved on. In the deep, dark ninth was always a haven for outcasts. Used to be, now they're trying to drive us out. Wrath, the Drift, Crush." And then this dude comes back. One called Cadaver. He doesn't speak much. Crush, the undesirable Baron. He's a mutant, of course, but they say he has friends in high places. Friends who watch his... But Dolphin, what is it? You know, the girl here. That's her name, Dolphin. And then we see Cadaver. "Who are you, and how did you get in here?" And he says, "Gods, back away. That's Cadaver." And so he starts unleashing powers against everybody, and it looks like, he's got, I don't know what coming out of his arms. So this artwork right here, it really doesn't tell me exactly what he's trying to do to these people. But given his name, Cadaver, I can sort of guess. And then Aquaman comes at him. A rogue magician, dangerous as hell. His specialty seems to be coral form manipulation, so he can, mess with ocean life forms. He said, "It's the craft the Artisan Guild uses to fast grow structures, but he turned it into a lethal weapon." And then Dolphin comes back, smacks him really good with her fist, and he pulls out his powers and punches her. He never says a word, though, it seems. And Aquaman's getting mad. "Leave her alone! Leave these people alone!" And gives him a good punch to the stomach. And he says, "Whoever sent you, tell them to stay out of the ninth. Tell your master these streets are under my protection." Then he uses his powers to literally, I think, shock Aquaman. And then we've got all these, what looks like psychic knives are coming at Aquaman. Wait, cadaver, don't kill the headland. If that's who I think it is, and it's Crush speaking, and there's Dolphin laying on the ocean floor, then good King Wrath will be the one to kneel before Crush. Next, crushed. So this issue was not really that great. But, you know, hopefully the artist can improve. Currently the artwork for everything starting from 25 to on, I mean, I think issue 29 comes out this week. It's basically been the same. So I can only hope that this artist, who I can't pronounce his name, steps up his game and really starts to draw these characters like they should be drawn, with some definition, not just two-dimensional. I read a comic book just recently that was good. You know, the story was enjoyable, kind of silly, but the artwork was two-dimensional. The drawing of the figures, but the coloring was nice and bright. So that's my main gripe, is that the coloring is depressing. So I'm not even going to rate this book as it says here to do. Well, that's all for this time. I am Michael for Spirit Comics. Thank you for watching this review, true readers. If you enjoyed it, subscribe to my channel and smash that bell so you'll be notified of all new uploads. Like the video and share it with others so they can enjoy it too.